Hi guys, it's Ricky, and this is Ricky Reveals Live. Oh gosh, with the Charlie horse. I'm getting too old for this. No, I just decided to come outside because, like, well, why not? It's not cold. Pharaoh. I can finally forget, actually. Watch my YouTube channel if you want to know what my sign is, bud. Become a subscriber or leave me alone. I hate that, like, when, like, people want to bother you, like, when you tell people, hey, I'm going to go live. If you want to, like, interact with me, go watch my live. And then they still want to, like, hit you up on other social media apps. Okay. Um, I really meant to do this earlier because I got some messages earlier, and but I had to get things together and go over to my niece's house because she needed a babysit. So, and then when I got here, I was like, well, might as well go ahead and shower. She has this really awesome shower. Like her shower, I was like, oh, you can have like a party in it. I love it. Okay, June 3rd is significant for somebody. Um, Somebody was trying to conceal, which I know I've spoken about this before, like here recently, but somebody got STD results back, and they were trying to hide it from the partner, and the partner caught it, like, and saw it, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. So if that resonates, maybe you shouldn't be such a liar. Because I know a lot of good people, anyways, understand that mistakes happen, and that bad things do happen to good people. But if you don't own it and you don't try to, all right, this happened. Now, what's the best way to go on about life from this point? Like, I made this choice and it got me here. So, what can I do now to, like, go back up instead of go further down? Instead of, like, I didn't do that. That's a lie. No, the one armed man did it, man. No, Toby down the street did it. I didn't fucking do it. I didn't fuck her in the shower. It wasn't me. Somebody's a star seed. Somebody's born November 15th. Um, there's a Scorpio that's flipping their shit right about now. Could be the one that was trying to hide the results of the STD test. Um, there's a Gemini that is just dead on the inside. and they're bitter, and they want other people to feel their pain. Like they want to cause pain to other people because they're in pain and sorrow and bitterness. And they're about to send a message to someone because they want to break their heart because their heart's been broken. When really, actually, their heart's not been broken. They're just losing their security, their comfortable lifestyle that they've gotten used to. Because quite honestly, all they're going to miss is the money anyways. They're not going to miss the person that is leaving them. But because this person's leaving them and they're going to someone else, this Gemini is going to try and contact the person that they're going to either A, tell them some truth that's really going to hurt, or B, tell some lies to try and get this person to not want to be around this person that's on their way to them. It's not just a Gemini either. And it goes along with that message I did earlier with the love triangle. There is a feminine and a masculine that are both going to be negatively affected monetarily when this other masculine goes to the person they want to be with. So both this feminine and this masculine are going to try and call shit. They're going to try and call this person, whoever this masculine, the third masculine, or the second masculine, the third person in the triangle, when they go to run off to this other person, the masculine and the feminine that are left in the triangle are going to try and like get this other person to like hate the masculine because they don't want to lose their cash cow. Because this masculine that's running away to someone they truly love was actually the provider. Like they had the money in the triangle. Virgo. So it could be a Gemini feminine and a Virgo masculine that are being left behind, and they're both shitty as fuck. Or it could be a Virgo feminine and a Gemini masculine that are both being left behind that are shitty as fuck. Libra. Scorpio. How was your day? Whoever's watching. I can't, unless you like comment, I can't see who you are. So I'm just like, hey, whoever it is, I just know you're here. Leo. Sagittarius. So maybe the third, like the masculine that's walking away from this triangle, maybe they're a fire sign, a Leo, Sagittarius. Could be a Libra, Scorpio, or Virgo too. But I'm really getting Virgo as one of the ones being left behind. It might be a Virgo and a Scorpio that's being left behind. And either a Libra, a Leo, or a Sagittarius that's leaving them behind. And Aries. There's definitely a fire sign involved. Sorry that that's rocking so much, guys. Like, I came out here to like, well, there's 3 screaming kids in the house, so I really needed the peace and quiet for one. And I wanted to be in nature to maybe pick up on like the energies, get some more refreshed, renewed energies, but it doesn't look like it. Somebody's holding on to something really. Someone's holding on to something really strong, and even though the person is really trying to like transmute the negativity into positivity, this person's holding on to it so strong that they can't. Like, there's 2 birds chasing each other. It's so cute. That's 2 sets. Nope. Wow. That's 3 sets of 2. There could be 3 twin flame unions coming together, like in the first week of June, or like in the month of June. Because I've never seen that before. There were 6 birds, but like literally 2 over here, two over here and two over there, and like they were playing with each other and not they didn't care about the other four. It was cute as fuck. Um, Whale and Orca Elders, share your song. Uh, Frequency of sound, diving deep. So let your voice be heard, collective. You are unique. You are powerful. You're an individual, and your voice has power, and it needs to be heard. There is something special and individual about you on the inside. Hey, Sherry. Um, oh, you're fine. But you have something magical and powerful on the inside of you, and you need to dig down deep inside and recognize it, and really tap into it, and then release it so the world can benefit from it, because it really, there's something special inside of you that really is, the spiritual realm is begging you to release it, to use it. It was a gift given to be used, not to be just kept inside of you and like wither away and die. The Courageous Pony, multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. What was I just saying? Not only let yourself be seen, but let yourself be heard. You're very important. The Great Severing. That's what that Virgo and that Scorpio, that Virgo and that Gemini are feeling right now. The Great Severing. Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. So this person, this masculine, that's what they did. They went through the process of being pissed off. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeVille. But they were mad about being in love with this feminine. They were mad about the issues that it was causing. They were mad that they made the wrong choice. They were mad about a lot of shit. And it caused a lot of conflict. And now, because they just know, they can't deny it anymore. They just can't fight it anymore. So their heart is softening to love. And they are going to where love is. And where they know they're going to be happy. And they don't want to hurt anybody, but they're tired of hurting themselves. Life's too short, and they want to actually be happy for a period of their life. I don't think this person's ever really been happy. They've always been doing for others, and people, because this person was kind-hearted, because they were generous, because they were the strong one in their group, everyone just kept taking and taking and taking, and no one ever asked, hey, do you need anything? Are you okay? Like, can I do something for you? Like, you know what I mean? And even when you're the strong one, even when you actually, what's up, Jay Gray? You actually, I can relate. But when you actually enjoy taking care of others and you don't mind giving to them, sometimes you will overextend yourself, and you got to take accountability for that as well. But at the same time, like, once you take accountability for that, you realize the mistakes you've made and how you can rectify the situation from what the mistakes you made to basically, like, once you take accountability, then you can figure out what needs to be switched or turned around or fixed in order for you not to do it again. And sometimes the only way to do that is to remove yourself. Inner Earth. You'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. Yeah, I mean, it's never easy, like, choosing yourself, especially when you're a giver. Thankfully, the CDC has detailed records about diagnosis dates, etc. Okay. Well, were you here the whole time? Who are you talking about? And I mean, are you Jenny? I mean, come on, let's just be fucking real. Jennifer Johnson, Jenny Jones. Who are you, Jay Gray? Because clearly you're somebody I know. I'm so sick and tired of you motherfucking fake family and fake friends trying to act like you're somebody else, like my gift ain't real or something. I fucking know when people are around here playing games with me. The blue flame. Spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. And I fucking if it's Jenny, I fucking warned you 6 months ago. If you're sleeping with people behind me, like, I mean, I'm undetectable. I can't give it to people, but I do have it, and those motherfuckers have it too. They're too fucking prideful and they can't handle the truth. So some of them I know are not on the meds, and they are passing this shit around. So you can go kiss my fucking fat ass with that shit, because you got the warning and you chose not to heed it. So if you have it, it's your own fucking fault. I mean, it's just, okay. If you know the stove is hot, do you go back and touch it with a different finger so 2 of your fingers can be blistered? I mean, we are grown adults here, people. It's time to take accountability for fucking where you put your fucking dick and what dicks you let into your pussy. Instead of wanting to cry after the fucking shit's done when you know you're dating a fucking whore. It's called accountability and not ignoring what you know to be true. When you know someone's lying to you and you choose to just like, well, I love him. I love him enough for the both of us. He wouldn't do that to me. When you know damn well he is, or she is, or whatever. You kind of got to take some responsibility in the fact that you're partially responsible for whatever happened. Because you knew the motherfucker was out doing that, the bitch was out doing that, and you still let him fuck you without a condom. So it's a part of it is your fucking fault. When you choose to allow people to use it, it does. But you know what? They can't do it if we don't let them. So it's a two-way street. Both parties are at fault. Shit. Yeah, this person is just bitter because they're mad at themselves because they knew better and they still fucking did it anyways. We also want to believe someone actually might love. I know. Trust me, I've been through 7 of the motherfuckers, and each and every one of them. Well, this one hasn't hit me, so maybe he loves me. Well, this one is with me 24/7, so there's no way he's cheating on me. This one actually works. He doesn't take all my money. I know. I know exactly what I mean. When you've never been loved and you're starved for it, you will take less than what you fucking deserve. But that's where the healing comes in. Once you choose to heal yourself, you'll no longer ever accept anything less than what you deserve. You will hold off and you will wait for what you actually deserve. Something that will treat you right and will be good for you. I've gone, well, outside of my ex, he came back a couple times, like, over the last couple months, and obviously, like, I was weak in the knees, and so I had sex with him, like, twice over the last 2 months, but other than him, I've not had sex since September, like, and me and him broke up, he left me in August. Right? It takes a minute to absorb what actually just happened. I know, and I'm not like, again, I said this the other night, I'm not trying to, like, judge anybody, I'm not trying to, like, make anybody feel bad, I'm just trying to wake people up. I'm 41 years old, I'm sure most of my demographic, like, are within, like, 35 to 45, 35 to 55, we're not children. We know what happens when we go around fucking strangers. We know what happens when we have fucking group sex. We know what happens when we don't use condoms. Yeah, does it happen every time? No. But the possibility's there, the risk is there, and you still chose to take it. So even if it only happens 1 out of 100 times, if your number's up, you're gonna get something. Like, and you did it to yourself. And you knew better. The Queen of Swords knew better. And she's pissed off at herself, and that's why she wants to take it out on the world. It's not Gemini. Because she feels like this man stole everything from her. He deceived her, he lied to her, and now he's just walking out the back door. But I'm telling you, if this man did all this shit to you, you're fucking pack his bags for him. Like, offer him a ride. Like, the minute he's gone is the minute your life starts getting better. Yeah, it hurts first. Actually, scientifically, statistically, they say it takes about half the time you spent with somebody to actually fully get over them. So if you spent 20 years with them, you're looking at 10 years to get over them. It's just a part of, like, that's why we're not supposed to be sleeping with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. It's our own choice, and exactly. I mean, if we'd wait till marriage, and we chose, our penguin, we wouldn't have to deal with this shit. It's like, God doesn't tell us not to do things because he wants to. Oh, I don't want them to have fun today. I don't want them to, like, experience this. No, when God tells you not to do something, it's because he doesn't want you to experience the consequences. You go out sleeping with 500 people. The statistics of today, 1 in 3 people have herpes. I think it's 1 in 10 has HIV. So I could be wrong on that one, so just let me know. But I know I'm right about the 1 in 3 in herpes. So if you slept with 3 different people, there's a good chance that you might have herpes. So that's the thing. It's like, you've got to realize that you can't just be willy-nilly out here in these streets. So if you're okay with being willy-nilly in these streets, and you got to be okay when you go to the doctor, and the doctor says, hey, just like me, I was homeless on the street, Fresno. I was on the streets of Fresno, California, 2,500 miles away from home. Did not have anybody. I had people would send me money and sell on Cash App every now and then, so I wasn't completely broke. But I was on the streets. I had nobody, no one. And I was just walking the streets. I got myself in a homeless shelter and stuff, like. But I did have one fraternity brother who lived in the San Francisco Bay, but that was a 3-hour drive, and he would come about every 2 weeks. He'd bring me some, like little gifts and a little bit of cash and stuff. But for the most part, I did that fucking with God. Every day I heard God say, "Don't give up, James. Don't give up. You're going through this for a purpose. I am walking this with you. You're going through this now because it's going to benefit you later on in your life. This experience is happening for you so that you can use it to help other people later on. But you're not going through this alone. I am here with you. I am with you. You are not alone." I heard it every single day. I heard God tell me that. So I knew he was there, and that's what got me the strength to go carry on. But toward the end of that, my side just started hurting so bad. I couldn't take more than 2 steps at a time. And like, literally, if I took more than 2 steps, I was crying, like excruciating pain. And I had no way to get to the hospital or nothing. So from where I was at the homeless shelter to where the hospital was about a 2.5, 3 mile trek. Literally, I walked almost 3 miles, 2 steps at a time. Because I had to, like, stop and take a break, cry, whatever, but keep telling myself, you got to get to the hospital. You got to get to the hospital. Because I had no idea what was going on. All I knew is I felt like I was dying. And so I finally got to the hospital, and I had been sexually assaulted like a couple weeks before that. So I had asked the doctor to give me, like, an STD screen of everything. And he came back into the room like an hour later, and he was like, "Have you ever tested positive for HIV?" And I said, "No." And he's like, "Well, you do now. You have it now." And he walked right back out again. I mean, I was devastated. But I'm homeless. I'm on the streets. Like, I feel like I'm, like, whatever's going on my side. I mean, I literally feel like I'm about to die. Now I have HIV. My parents won't help me. Like, I have nobody. Like, it was really hard for me. Really, really hard. But I spent a week in the hospital, and then my fraternity brother came down. He did a GoFundMe, and overnight there was enough money to get me back to Indiana, and had a little bit of money left over to like get cigarettes and food for a week or two, and I literally laid in my dad's bed because this is the first thing my dad said to me when I got back home. Uh, I mean, again, I outside of being sexually assaulted a couple times actually, but most of my sexual experiences I chose to engage in them. So I cannot be mad at nobody but myself. Um, but one of the first things my dad said to me when I got back home from that experience was, "I always knew you were gonna get it." My heart just like fell to the floor. It was like, you couldn't have thought of anything else better to say. Your son was literally just homeless in a city of 500,000 people, 2,500 miles away from here, had nobody, and just found out they have a terminal illness. And you literally, all you could say is, "I always knew you were going to get it." I spent a month laying in my dad's bed. Like, he let me have his bed. And I didn't like, get up again. My boss finally called. He's like, "Hey, you ready to go back to work?" And something told me, "You have to get out of this bed. If you don't get out of this bed now, you're going to give up." And so I went back to work. But it was it was one. I mean, it was a really hard time in my life. Um, we are on our own, Ricky. No one is going to save us. We have to do it. I know. And even though I want to play that damsel in distress, Rapunzel, let my hair down, I know no one's coming. If I don't do it myself, it's not going to happen. And actually, I mean, I'm really not all that upset about that because doing things on your own, which, okay, by the way, I don't have anyone that does this with me. I created Ricky Reveals on my own. I've done everything on my own. I don't have a manager. If anyone ever contacts you and it's like, "Hey, Ricky wants to give you a reading," tell him to fuck off. Like, I'm the only person, and I will never ever ask you for a reading. If you want a reading from me, yes, I do charge $30, but I do them on FaceTime. So you will know it's me talking to you. If anyone ever approaches you or tries to get you to, like, just tell them to fuck off. Because I will never ask you for a reading. If you ask me for one, the $30 and send it to me on Cash App, and then we can FaceTime. I don't work with anybody. I'm a lone wolf. As I'm saying that, the Eight of Pentacles is in my hand. Someone's working really hard on something. Could be to steal from somebody, with the Seven of Swords being the first card, the card right before it. Well, I'm trying to build my clientele, and honestly, I didn't start this because like my other channel, I had a pretty good clientele, but my ex and my fake family and fake friends, pretty sure they've been making identity fraud. That's why I just said everything I just said, because I'm pretty sure it's already been done to me. But I pretty much have lost all my clientele. I have one person who still comes to me, and now they're only coming like once a month. And she hasn't told me anything, but I really am like, something's up. You know what I mean? You used to come like once a week, now you're coming once a month. But so I didn't start this to like make money. I started to help people, and but in order to do it full time, obviously money makes the world go round. So I have to make some kind of an income. We're also gonna have to go out and fucking flip hamburgers, McDonald's, or if I get an actual dream job, then I might not be able to do this at all until I get monetized. See what I mean? Like, so it's just a way of helping me like get through. But right now I have the time, so I don't want to like charge like the $100 that you'll see some of the other YouTubers charging and stuff. But now when I get my clientele built up, if I've got 100 clients, then I will have to charge more because first come first serve type attitude. But it's only if there's not enough hours in the day. I don't want to be like that unless I'm getting to that point where I don't have enough hours in the day. Okay, so working hard to either overcome the betrayal of being of a thief fucking you over, or someone's working hard to figure out how to like go about another plan because you figured them out. You will get clientele back in them. So thank you. I appreciate that. I know it's coming. God's told me like I'm about everything's about to really. I mean, I hear it about once a day. When I show you what I got for you, you're gonna be so glad you didn't give up. Thank you. I mean, we all are. We all get different gifts. You know what I mean? And if we don't, that's one of the things that sucks about today's society is they want us all to conform. They want us to all be like robots or cookie cutter people, and they want us all to look the same, to act the same. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people are never. I was never told like my parents hid from both my grandfathers when I was born. Said he is going to be a preacher. He is going to be a man of God. He is going to do something for the kingdom of God. Neither one of my parents ever told me that either one of my grandpas had prophesied that. I was 34 years old. I had gone to a church and I spoke with the pastor, and he said, "You're meant to be a preacher. You're meant to be you're meant to share the gospel." You know what I mean? Like, and it's your calling. It's your life. It's your life's purpose is to spread the gospel. And so I went to call my parents, and I called it separately because they were divorced. But I was like, Mom, hey, I just got back from church, and this preacher told me I'm supposed to be a preacher. Blah blah blah. So, oh yeah, my dad said that when you were born at your christening. Oh really? He did? Why didn't you ever tell me? And literally, not 10 minutes later, I call my dad and tell him the same thing. He's like, "Oh yeah, my dad said that when you were born." I was like, "And you never told me." So both of your fathers had the same prophecy over my life, and neither one of you thought, "Hey, maybe we should, protect him as a child so he can, grow up and like have some common sense and not turn to drugs and alcohol like the rest of the fucking family." Tara actually saved me from a few problems. I mean, this is cardboard. Cardboard is not evil. If it was, then this would be evil. Like, you can't pick and choose. It is the spirit behind what you're doing, not the actual card itself. So if you're sitting here and you're actually trying to help spread the gospel, you're actually trying to help people get a relationship with Christ, get a relationship with Jehovah, I don't think that's evil. Like, and God gave me the gift. So, like, I mean, and not only that, like, I don't know if I want to go. I think I'll do that one. Actually, I've already done a video like that before, but I'll do that one, like, on a video that it's not live. That way I can actually, like, do my notes and, like, and actually do it almost as if it's like a class, like a study. But I just have a lot of issues with the fact that the Catholic Church canonized the Bible, and I'm gonna leave it there for now. There is a video that I have from last fall that's on the channel where I speak about that in like a little bit more detail, and I've always wanted to go back and redo it and actually add more detail to it. But I definitely, and I believe the Bible tells us that the Catholic Church is the beast. The papacy is the beast. You go through Revelation and you go through Daniel. Like that, it's the only thing that makes sense. And they're the ones that canonize the Bible. So there's a lot that's been hidden from us, and now as a collective, we're waking up and we're not taking it anymore. Relationship, not religion. Yeah, you're walking away from everything that's ever wounded you, whether it's people, places, or things, belief systems. Whatever has wounded you throughout your life, you are done with it. I know I was. Yes, it's the intent. Yes. You're saying to yourself, I know God loves me. I know I wasn't created to live a miserable existence. He created me to live an abundant, joyful, fruitful life. And I'm going to go find it. And if I have to let go of everything except the clothes on my back, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Someone's had an awakening, and everyone in their life has done everything they can to stop them from fully awakening, because they know once this person awakens, they're not going to be their little bitch anymore. They're not going to like provide their rent, provide their gas money, provide, take care of them basically. Once this person fully wakes up, 3 to 4 people that this person takes care of know that they're cut off and that they're going to have to get their own job or they're going to have to take care of themselves, and they don't want to do that. So they've done everything they can, including black magic, to keep this person from actually having a spiritual awakening. And this, there's two different towers here. The tower for the person who had the spiritual awakening, because I don't think this person even believed in God until the spiritual awakening hit them in the fucking face. And then the second tower is all the people that this person was taking care of and catering to all their life. They're now not going to be catered to anymore, and now they have to get a job or they have to go, and fend for themselves, and that's a tower for them. So I guess technically it's only one tower, but it's the lightning is crashing both sides of it. And somebody's just pissed off because that evil bitch, he didn't believe in God. Oh wow. Okay. Whew, I'm sorry about that, but I feel like I know who you're talking about. So there's somebody who didn't want to let go of somebody because they really enjoyed the nut they busted with them. And that is the cold hard truth. They literally, all they wanted them for was sex. Because they did it for them physically. But other than that, they didn't give two shits. So, Ricky, we just shake it off and keep moving. That's all we can do. I mean, once a tower moment happens, good or bad, life is never the same. And no matter how much crying you do, no matter how much resistance you give it, nothing's ever going to go back to the way it was before this event happened. And it's just the reality of some bullshit. King of Wands. Somebody, it's definitely a leader. Somebody is definitely I cried for once and so me too. Like, I mean, I could not believe it. After everything I've been through, and I know God told me, he's like, the next one is the one. And when my ex came in and we had the experience that we had together, and then for him and my family to be the reason he left, and then for him to just not speak to me like ever get well for like 6 months. But even when he came back, I feel like there was like ulterior motives. Like he was trying to figure out how much I knew, like, and he was. I feel like my family asked him to come there and like pretend to want to spend time with me, but really just drill me for information. Because 3 times in a row, he was there for long enough to like. Thank you. Yeah, I was say he was there long enough for me to be broke for like until I ran out of money at that moment, and then he was gone. And this is the thing. This is why I really, really feel like he was sitting by my family. Because my sister sold my house trailer last fall. But I still had my title. I had my deed. And I had it in a lockbox. Well, my nephew, he is ADHD. He's got PTSD. He's got a lot of anger issues. And I just don't know how to handle it after a certain point. When you're busting holes in the walls, and you're screaming at the top of your lungs, and you're pushing my elderly dad around, I'm not tolerating anymore. So me and my nephew will go at it sometimes. But I also try not to put my hands on him because he's fucking 12. Or now he's 13. He turned 13 last weekend. So, but I'm not going to sit there and let's watch my nephew like go on a tyrant fucking fit and just watch it, especially when he puts his hands on my dad. But every time like me and my nephew got into it, my dad would like, "You guys, come on, stop it!" Blah, blah, blah. And finally, me and my nephew would like calm down or whatever. But one of the times my ex had come and was there, my dad was like, "Well, you could just go ahead and get your stuff and leave." To me, I had not ever said it like that before at all. So I was like, "Okay, fine, whatever, Dad. You want to be left alone with him? Fine, I'm out." So I packed up all my stuff, and me and my ex, I thought me and him were gonna go and like, I don't know, leave town, like whatever. Like I thought me and him were getting out and we were gonna get back together and start over. We were we spent like 3 days together, basically until I was broke, and then he like came up with this fucking. Well, actually, I did a reading where he left me out at this wooded area. If any of you guys have been watching me that long, but and when he came back, he like was like throwing this like, fit about whatever, and so dropped me back off my dad's house, and like he couldn't get out of there fast enough. So I didn't get all my stuff out of his car, and one of the things I didn't get out of there was my lockbox. So he swears he threw it away, but I'm pretty sure that was the whole point of all that. That whole thing was set up in order to get my lockbox, in order to get the deed or title to my fucking trailer, so that they could fucking finally officially sign my name, and then make it official to whoever they fucking sold it to. And since they all split the money, they all had to, be in cahoots to fucking get the deed so that they could actually make it official. People can call me crazy, they can call me paranoid. I don't give a fuck. He knows you're right. Yes, that's one of those reasons he fell in love with me. When we first met, I gave him a reading, and I was a rebound, which I wasn't ever expecting this to be what it is. Like, I actually just wanted a one night stand. I ain't gonna lie. I wanted to just get some frustration out and go back to work. And then he was the one. Like, I gave him a reading, and we had about, I think it was 2 like really good days together, like really intense days. And then he refused to leave. He's like, "Can you give me a job with you?" Blah, 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 which we did need people. So I was like, "Well, I guess yeah, that's fine." And get you out of here. That way you can clear your head. You know what I mean? With all the shit that you've just been through, you could use it's work, but it'll actually feel like a vacation considering what you've been through. And we wound up spending 3 months together then, and then we took a little trip across the country and down to Florida, and he had to come back for court, and he's supposed to come back to Florida, and I knew when he left he wasn't coming back. And then he ghosted me for like 6 months, and then May of last year he called me, and I was in Ohio, and I was coming to Indiana anyways that day because I had a doctor's appointment the next day because my doctor is still here in Indiana, and he said, "I really need to see you," and I was like, "Okay, well, how ironic." I was coming there. I'm heading there in 2 hours, anyways. The coincidence that I ain't heard from you in 6 months, but you call me the day that I'm about to head to Muncie, and my parents know I'm coming, and it also was the full moon. It was the Taurus full moon last May. So, black magic, anyone? But the thing is, like when we first met, he was like the one that I can't leave you. He's like, there's something about you. I cannot bring myself to be away from you. And I was like, get away from me, bro. Get away from me. Like, I don't want all this. What hurts most is being used or figuring out. Yeah. Yeah. I know. And especially when the sex was good. It's like, how the fuck can you fake it? And then just the connection altogether was like really, I mean, it was really good. You know what I mean? Like, we never fought. We really actually genuinely, like, authentically made each other, like, laugh to the core, like, piss your pants laugh. We enjoyed the same things, or at least everything seemed like that. You know what I mean? Like, and up until, and like I said, I still think it's my mom, my sister, and my cousin. Them dirty ass fucking alcoholic bitches who can't keep a man were jealous and envious of the fact that their son, or my son, brother, cousin, who was a man, could keep a man and treat a man better than they could. They just couldn't have it. They couldn't handle it. So they did whatever they did to get him away from me. And then once they lied to him and did whatever they did, then I guess he went back to his wife. I don't know, because I don't even know who the fuck he's married to, honestly. Because I thought he was married to a woman in New York who, they got married because his parents are Christian and they wouldn't let them live in their house together unless they were married. So that was the whole reason they got married. And he only married her because she was pregnant. And even though it wasn't his baby, and he knew it wasn't his baby, he couldn't bear to see her homeless. So he married her because that's the only way his parents would let her live there. And then, like, right before I met him, supposedly she robbed him, like stole everything from him, fucked his best friend, whatever, and then she headed all hightailed to New York and he hadn't seen her. And yeah, whatever. I know. Another thing about accountability. I knew he was fucking lying to me. I just wanted to believe it so I could believe he was single and I could feel bad about fucking sleeping with another woman's husband. Somebody's husband. And so I didn't fall for the okie doke. I turned a blind eye to it because I didn't want to fucking feel bad about sleeping with somebody's husband. So yeah, supposedly she was in New York and she's making money. I'm over the love shit. I keep saying that too, but every time, I just have a soft spot. I mean, if we all just loved each other like a little stronger and a little more, if we fought for each other a little bit harder, if everyone just fought just a little bit harder, this world would be a better place. And I mean, even the Bible says, love each other deeply, for love covers a multitude of sins. We can actually help each other, like, be forgiven by God by loving each other, because our love for each other helps cover this. The blood of Jesus covers us, and allows us to be forgiven, and get our salvation. But by our love for each other, it helps cover the sins even more. So if we genuinely, truly love each other authentically and genuinely, it actually helps us look better, like, to God. I mean, not like ourselves personally, our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our fathers, our friends. Like, if we genuinely, authentically love the people in our life, we can really we can do some shit in this world that's actually positive and powerful, and not fucking big booty bitches and half naked Kardashians on the fucking TV. Like, I don't. Nothing irritates me more than people that are just famous for being famous. Like, literally, they're famous because they have money. That's it. And people can't just love the way their ignorance. Like, it just irritates me that people get famous for being famous. And that's just the kind of world we live in now. People would rather spend 2-3 hours a day watching dumb cable television than going out and, like, volunteering at a homeless shelter or a soup kitchen, or hell, even taking a trash bag. And I've done this myself, so, like, I'm not, like, just trying to act I'm holier than thou or whatever. But taking a trash bag and going down the side of like your neighborhood and just picking up the trash that ignorant people throw out their windows of their cars. You know what I mean? We've all done it. I've thrown stuff out of the car window too, so I ain't trying to act like I ain't done that part of it either. But that's another reason why I've done the whole let's take a trash bag and go through the neighborhood and just pick up trash that's randomly on the side of the street. Because I help contribute to this trash being here, whether or not it was this specific trash or not. But I've committed the action that led to trash being on the fucking ground. All right, let's get back to the reading. I'm sorry, guys. All right, so we have a King of Wands here, who I believe is the one that's gone through the spiritual awakening, and this High Priestess, Queen of Swords, and this thief, Seven of Swords guy, they're all, like, wounded because now they know that because this King of Wands has gone through the spiritual awakening, that they have to fend for themselves, because he is gonna walk out and go towards his best life, and more than likely, once he leaves, he's gone. He's not coming back. He's cutting all ties. I can't make it up, guys. What did I just say? This King of Wands has a spiritual awakening, and he's cutting ties with the Queen of Swords, a High Priestess, and a Thief. The next card out is the Three of fucking Pentacles. Three people working together for a common goal. And in this situation, the common goal was to keep this guy from ever fully awakening to spirit. And now they know they're not smarter than God, and they're not more powerful than God, and that divine timing is here, and that this man is going to wake up. He is going to get his shit together, and he is going to get on his path. He's get into his life's purpose, because God said so. He is getting the fire, passionate new beginning that he deserves, and that God wants him to have. And even though you feel like you're being left out in the cold, God's actually doing you a favor, because you need to figure out how to fend for yourself. You need to figure out how to take care of yourself and to stop stealing from other people. Absolutely, because the good Lord knows that I forgive people over and over. It would be fine if the people had remorse, but nope, I just let them hurt me again. So we don't get the closure, and no one can hurt us like this. Just don't let anyone into your energy ever again. Well, you just got to be more. You got to like heal, and you got to know how special you are, and how sensitive and how pure. Like once you purify your energy, you got to protect it. Like, you deserve to have pure energy. You deserve to have a pure heart. You deserve to have, to love yourself, and you deserve to protect yourself from anyone who has any. I love loving people too, but sometimes you got to love people from afar, especially ones that have not once, not twice, not three times, but more than three times have, pulled the whole crocodile tears and I'm so sorry, I love you, I'll never do it again. Like, whether it's family, lovers, or friends, and you finally just got to forgive them, hug them, tell them you love them, and walk away. Love them from afar, and just don't allow them access to you, so they can't do it. Get another fucking one up on you, because one of the and there's no I don't consider anything about having a good heart, a big heart, as a flaw. If you have a big heart and you have a good heart, that's a gift from God. So not any of it is a flaw. But one of the issues is with people that don't have good hearts and people that are operating out of like low vibrational narcissistic energies, is once they do something to you 2 to 3 times, that's it. They will do it to you as much as you let them do it. Because they're like, well, if the dumbass keeps letting me do it, I might as well, shit. Why go with that when I know motherfucking Ricky's gonna fucking do it for me? So you have to stand up and you have to take the initiative to protect yourself. And it sounds heartless, and it's hard for someone like an empathic person or a person with a genuine good heart to do, but you deserve to be loved too, and you deserve to be treated fairly and properly, and you don't deserve to be taken advantage of. So when you know that someone that's just their personality, it's not even personal to you. So you don't take it personally. And if you know that's just that person's personality, love them, hug them, forgive them, and walk away from them, because they are going to continue to do it. And if you're not there, they're just going to find someone else to do it. So they're going to be fine. That's another thing you got to tell yourself. They will be fine, because they will find another me. They don't know how to live without a supply. But I think God's trying to teach these people here, anyways, hey, you all have exactly what it takes. You're very capable, you're intelligent, you're good looking, you have 2 arms, you have 2 hands, you have 2 legs, you have 2 feet. You can do some shit on your own here. And that doesn't require selling drugs. It doesn't require selling your body. There's other gifts I gave you that you can do where you can let this man go and let him be happy. He has done, he's given his whole life to you. Let him go live the rest of his life for him and me. Well, I'm talking about God, but and and a true partner who genuinely and authentically loves this man for who he is, not who you want him to be. Yeah, someone's resting right now because this King of Wands might have already done this. He might have already walked away from everybody, and now he's spending some. He's secluded himself to get to finish his spiritual awakening. Because my spiritual awakening, like it happened over a period of a couple months. Like this dude here, it happened. It was like like he didn't get a little drawn out like I did, because even with the way I went through it, like it's pretty intense. Like it's a lot. I mean, I'm sure you guys have been through one too. At least most of you. You wouldn't be watching tarot, I don't think, if you hadn't, or you're going through it right now, and that's why you're watching tarot. But this person, because of the divine timing, my first last almost year. Yeah, this is my second. Like when I say like Dark Night of the Soul, like what I've been through like since last August, I would say would be my second one. My first one was not this long. This one, yeah, it's. But this one, I honestly believe it's because once this one fully, the transformation takes like, I mean, I've come a long way, but once it fully, like God does what He's doing in me throughout this process, I don't think I'm this King of Wands, but I'm the same, basically the same thing as happening to me. Once he finally gets everything worked out the way he wants it, I'm going to be doing the same thing as King of Wands is doing. Like, and hell, that King of Wands might be my counterpart. But I think two people who have given everything they have to their family, their friends, their lovers, to other people, they've given their power away their entire lives to other people. They both have walked the same walk pretty much. And once they finally both make the decision to say, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I'm 40 years old. I want to live the rest of my life happy. I want my dreams to come true. I want to do what God is calling me to do. I can't do this for you guys anymore. I love you, but you're on your own. And when both these people actually finally make that decision, they're going to come together, like through faith, through divine timing, and they are going to spend the rest of their lives together, walking out God's purpose for them, and actually, finally, for the first time in their lives, feeling like someone truly understands them for who they really are, who they, every bit of them. These people are going to feel like, they're going to finally feel like they're not alone in the world, that they actually have a twin. There's someone who can understand every little last bit of them. And I don't think either one of these people have ever felt that way. And they're going to do it for each other. Yes, complete. I don't know why I couldn't come out. I don't know why I couldn't be simplistic like that. But yes, that is like the best way to put it. It's complete. These two people are going to complete each other. And with the help of each other, they will complete God's purpose for their lives. Judgment. So, Judgment. Somebody's ascending. They passed their test. I mean, I'm not saying they did everything perfectly. I'm not saying they got everything right. But they got enough right to where they were granted the ascension. And see how like she's like looks like she's in agony, but yet her soul is ascending. She went through all this pain. It's really not, honestly. Like when I was younger, I couldn't stand it. And I mean, I didn't have to be like in a relationship, but I tolerate a lot of bullshit that no one should ever tolerate in relationships, just to keep a relationship. But even if I was single, I always wanted to be with my best friend or my parents, or I always wanted to be with somebody. I just did not feel comfortable in my own skin to like be in a room by myself. Like, and I never would go to like do anything by myself, like go to movies by myself, none of that. And now that I've gotten older and I've done those kinds of, I'm like, even going to a bar, which I don't go to bars anymore, but I used to go to bars all the time. But I would not go to a bar by myself. And finally, like after a long period of time, like having no one to hang out with or whatever, um, I was like, you know what? I am tired. I'm not having any fun. I'm gonna just at least try it. So I went to a bar by myself, and I probably would have to say that was the best time I'd ever had going out because I was in complete control of how long I stayed, how much I drank, who I talked to, how long I talked to them, and there was nobody else to like, hey, let's go over here, let's go do this, let's leave this bar and go to that bar. Let's, you know what I mean? Like I was able to just fly by the seat of my pants and enjoy every moment of it, and it was actually better than any other experience I ever had going out to the club. Oh, let's see that last one. I do now. I mean, I definitely like. You know, I mean, I value companionship, and I definitely want it. But I definitely I can actually be comfortable in my skin now, and actually trust if I have the right person, which I'm pretty sure the next one is going to be that person. Like I mean, God's He's reassuring me as long as I trust Him and I'm following His lead, the next one is the one, and it could actually be the last one if he gets his shit together. I don't know. Like that's just a hot mess in general, but he's trying, so I'm not like trying to put him down or judging. I used to go to the movies alone, and people thought that it was. See, I used to feel like weird to do it, but once I started doing things by myself, it really actually was. I found that sometimes I actually had more fun than what I would if I would have went with somebody. Like I was just talking about that bar story. Um, but yeah, now I actually want like a relationship for companionship and stuff. But if we go a week or two without seeing each other, I'm not gonna like, I can't breathe. Where's my partner? They're cheating on me. They're dead. There's got to be some reason they're not here other than the fact that they have to work or they have to like maybe go on a business trip or maybe they just want to be nice and maybe they have a better relationship with their mom than I do and they wanted to take her to Vegas for a week, or they wanted to take her to the fucking Camden Islands or whatever. I don't know, but and it's like that's it's pain in the chest. Yeah, like I mean, I well, but it's also the quality and the caliber of people that you choose to date. If you're dating a good person, they're gonna keep you secure in the fact that you are good enough and that they don't want nobody else but you, and they're gonna actually their actions will match their words. Now, when you're with a low vibrating, addicted asshole who drinks all the time or does drugs all the time, then and their words and their actions don't match up, that's where the insecurities come in because you somehow they're able to like project it onto you like it make you feel like you're not good enough or you've done something wrong when it's just the fact that they're just a selfish fucking asshole who their wants and needs come before anything else and you're just a casualty of fucking war. And by you choosing to stay in that environment and in that situation, of course they're going to make you feel like it's your fault because they don't want to admit that they're weak and that you actually are stronger than them. Because for them to admit that would devastate their hard candy shell because they're a little pussy on the inside. They're still sucking their mom's tit when they're 50 years old. I mean, not literally, but you know what I mean, figuratively. But they can't. They don't want anyone to see that soft, sensitive side. So they act all tough and bad, and like you're the weak one, not them. Especially if it's a man like to a woman. I don't know. I'm sure there are women that do it. Well, I know there are women that do it. What the fuck? Like my mom and sister do it. I've done it. I think it's one of the reasons why. I mean, all the shit my mom's done to me personally, but just watching, like, growing up and like watching what she did to my dad, like all those, like my dad had a heart attack back when I was in college, and literally no one even called me to tell me for fucking 3 days. I was 3 hours away from home, and no one fucking. I found out later on. Dad told him not to because he didn't want me to like miss class or whatever. But I was like, Dad, don't you ever fucking do that again. I was like, I was the furthest one away from home. It took me 3 hours to get here. So like, should have been the first one to fucking be told, and I didn't get told for 3 days. But also within that 3 days, my dad laying in the hospital, not knowing whether or not he's gonna live. My mom comes in and pretends like, "Oh, baby, honey, you okay? Can I do anything for you?" He gets up to go to the bathroom or whatever, but his eyes are turned away from his wallet. She steals all the cash out of his wallet and then fucking leaves. Like, women can be just as narcissistic as men. I heard when it's a woman after the betrayal tend to turn to their masculine side. Yeah, and my mom, which I can't say one way or the other because either I wasn't born, no, I was born, I was just too little to fucking know the difference of some shit. But my parents, I guess, were swingers. Like when me and my sister were really little. I do have one memory of actually catching my parents, but well, but but then my dad apparently did it without my mom one time, and it was like the War of the Roses started that day, and she, from that moment, looked for every opportunity she could to cheat on my dad, and she got drunk. But see, my mom, she was bisexual. And actually, I think my mom was really a lesbian, but because of the time and the way the world was back then, and her dad was a preacher. So um, she wasn't strong enough to actually live her life with a woman. But every chance she got to get drunk and then ditch my dad for a woman, she sure as fuck did it. So she was slept with one of my friends in high school. My friend was like of age, but it was still embarrassing as fuck. Who needs therapy when you just got get on YouTube Live and just talk? But I've always been an open book. I don't care. Only God can judge me, and I feel like my story and me telling the things I've been through and things that have happened to me can help somebody else. So it doesn't bother me. Whether you hide it or you talk about it, it still happened. It makes turn to different sides. Oh, Maelstrom, yeah. See, and that's another thing. Like, I don't feel bad because, well, for one, I might actually be my ex's karmic, like, or one of his karmics because I'm not the only one. But you're sweet, Ricky, but we have to stay savage. We do, but there's a way to be savage and sweet at the same time. It's kind of like those candies. At first they're sweet, and then they're sour, or first they're sour, then they're sweet. Whatever. That's Ricky. First he's sweet, and then he's sour when you fuck him over. But no, I could actually be my ex's karmic, because I I think like, well, I know that I was told to like to trust God through this process, to love that man unconditionally, and to not retaliate when he made bad choices, and to just continue to love him unconditionally, and that God would handle everything. And unbeknownst to me or him, I think I turned out to be the greatest lesson he's ever been given. Um, and if that makes me karmic, that makes me karmic. But I do genuinely love him, and I do believe he genuinely loves me too. But not all karmics are bad, guys. Some karmic just means lessons. So just because you are karmic to someone doesn't mean you were bad to that person. It just means that they learned a very valuable and huge life lesson through you being in their life. So it doesn't mean that you were shitty or that you did something wrong. It actually sometimes can mean you did something right and that they're a better person because they knew you. That still actually can make you karmic. It just depends on the situation and how it all plays out. Um, yeah, the Empress standing into her power. She's got the strength to recognize she's karmic. Now, and it does. It's hard. Some readers talk about karmics like they're not human beings. Yeah, and it's another thing I hate about some readers is when they do like zodiac readings, they always make it like it's the other person's fault. No, bitch, all of our shit stinks. Sometimes you gotta sit there and be like, hey, look, Taurus, or hey, look, Virgo, hey, look, Capricorn. You know you did some dirty shit. You know this was you. This scenario here, you were the bad guy, not the other person. Instead of like always being like, well, Taurus, I don't know why this karmic did this to you, but this karmic's a bitch, and you blah, you know what I mean? No, bitch. Taurus did that, or Capricorn did that, or Virgo did that, or Leo did that. Like, and just tell it how it is instead of like, I don't know, trying to make people feel good because lies kill. Truth hurts, but lies kill. And you go around like fucking telling people what they want to hear, you're not fucking helping anybody. Oh wow. Okay, so we got the Queen of Pentacles, and we got the Lovers. So we got a feminine earth sign, possibly, it doesn't have to be, but a feminine who is grounded, who is loyal, who is loving. She is at peace because she knows she has faith in God. All of her trust is in God. She knows her money is going to be fine. Her every aspect of her life is going to be fine. And she's just sitting there and she's not letting anyone disturb her joy, her peace, and she's staying grounded and she's keeping the faith because she knows that her lover, which those came out, they were like flipped the wrong way from the rest of the cards. I pulled them together. She knows this King of Wands is coming, and that he's healed, and that he's on the journey now, and that they are going to do this together, and they both have come so far. Really, sorry, I just had a flashback of some nights I spent with the King of Wands. I really, it's sad. I think I never got like we never got to like really be in a relationship, but I really had some very passionate and fiery nights with a Leo that I'll never forget. But so yeah, both of these people have healed, and they're ready. They're ready to step into their purpose, step into their power, and accept their thrones, and leave all the people who, not judging anyone, but the people who refuse to. Uh, you're still alive. Oh yeah, I guess I must have missed one. Some of your but we will all carry the karma if we choose not to let them go. Be them, just not with us. Accept responsibility. That's right. You're still alive. Still might have it. You're right. It's true. I do actually have faith in that. Um, at least if it's not, if my person is someone from my past, I do think it's the Leo. Like at least he was even like that's only having like one night here, one night there. He probably treated me better than anyone else I've ever been with. Um, he just he had things going on, and I just didn't fit into his life at that time. But maybe at some point I will. Um, right? I guess not being unalive is the reward for all of this. True. um, finally getting to. It's not your fault or my fault or anyone's fault that these people chose not to rise to the occasion, to not better themselves. You know, I'm assuming in everyone's story, the people closest to you grew up in the same class, social class, grew up in the same neighborhood, grew up in the same cultural like environment. Like, you guys pretty much had the same environment growing up. So they had every chance and every opportunity that you did, and they chose to squander them or chose to abuse it or to just flat out not even acknowledge the existence of the opportunity. And they chose not to elevate. They chose to be comfortable in their cesspool that they live in, like, the hood, or I mean, even if money is not does not buy happiness. So even people living like with they have money in the bank, but they still are doing drugs and fucking every Tom, Dick, and Harry. So they're still living the same lifestyle, like just doing it a little bit more luxuriously because they have money to fucking buy Cristal instead of fucking cognac. They're planning on unaliving me again tonight. I ain't worried about that shit anymore. Um, well, it's not the full moon yet. Like, when is the full moon? Is it the third? I know it's close, but when is the strawberry moon? When is the strawberry moon? Oh hell, I forgot. I'm not home. I don't have any Wi-Fi, but it's in the next couple days. But I would say that the unaliving they'll probably try and do it some kind of stupid ass ritual like over the moon. But I know my people in my story. I mean, I guess I don't want to be like call like anybody retarded, but after everything, like literally one of your leaders in jail, and one of your minions is dead. So like, I mean, to continue going on with just, I mean, but then again, I guess that's the whole reason why Satan has an army, because he's able to convince people that they are on the winning side, that they are going to win in the end, and they're not. But as long as you continue to believe the lies, Satan has a stronghold over you. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. Well, maybe. Ouch. I'm trying to like weed cigarettes out, but one day at a time. I just rather be working hermit than do that over smoke one for me. Mr. Newport just doesn't want to say goodbye, just like Mr. Taurus or Miss. I don't know. One of my exes is they're trying so hard to hold on to me, and they know that they can't because when they had the opportunity, they didn't want to treat me right. But now they realize that I literally have, I'm about to have the life that I always said I was going to have. They're sick because they're not going to be a part of it. I feel like it's the Taurus, but maybe it's because I'm actually still like my heart's still kind of invested in that situation, even though I can't do it anymore. I mean, I just can't. He showed me his true colors, and when somebody shows you who they really are, you just can't. You're the idiot if you keep going back. Thank you. I was happy with him, but it's just the way he disappeared and the way, he was gone for 6 months, and then obviously all the shit that he did with my family behind my back. Like, it was probably the best relationship I've ever had up until my family convinced him that I was evil and that he needed to like join forces with them and like do everything in the book to fucking do me wrong. Um, you know, but no, even though I don't know everything, I know enough to where you can't do those kind of things to someone and actually and honestly love them. If you if you genuinely love somebody, you would tell their family to get fucked before doing any half the shit my family asked them to do. But again, he he is wounded himself, and he has deep trauma from his childhood that he's healing from, or refusing to heal from, one or the other. I don't know, but so I don't judge him and I don't hold it against him. Um, I just hope that he finally chooses to accept the healing journey, and he gets he gets the peace and joy from God that he claims to have in public, but clearly he don't. So, but it's if he will surrender and let go of that ego, he will find that peace and that joy and that redemption that God wants to give him. How can your family thank you? Because they are, and I tell on them. Like I've been trying. My uncle made me suck his dick when I was 8 years old, and I tried to tell my parents like the next day, and my dad literally said, "You promise you're not lying on him? I don't want to send my only brother to jail if you're lying." Guilting me into like basically saying, I finally I told my dad that I dreamed it. Like I was like, oh, I think I just dreamed it, Dad. I don't think Uncle so and so did that to me, because my dad made me feel so bad for like telling like for like asking for help that I just retracted it and said that it was a dream. And then when I was 13, one of my mom's brothers started fucking me and fucked me until the day I turned 18. The very day I turned 18, he stopped touching me and never touched me again. Now that's a true fucking sicko for you. But yeah, like my my mom, she's a drunken whore. Like, and I'm not that I've not done a lot. I used to be a whore too. I've done all the hard drugs. Out, outside of anything that takes a needle, if you could snort it or smoke it, I've done it. And I've slept with a lot of people, but I've never hurt children. I didn't sleep with my fucking sister's boyfriends. I didn't fucking like. Now I did. There was a couple friends in there, like that. Yes, I was a shithead, but one of them I really thought they were broke up at the time, and I didn't think they were ever gonna get back together again. So yeah, fuck it. I'm not justifying. Not justifiable. I should not have touched the guy, and I did. So I've done it to friends, but I did not do it to my family, my mom, my cousin, my sister, and they all did it to me. But again, when we put negativity out into the world, when we put bullshit into the world, chaos into the world, we don't choose how it comes back. We can choose how we thrust it out there, but we don't get to choose how it comes back to us. So yeah, of course, it's not going to feel as bad when we do it. Like, well, what I did wasn't so bad, but oh my god, like the way it came back was just completely horrible. Like no, like it came back the way it had to in order for you to fucking realize the reality of some bullshit that you are just as fucked up as everybody else, and your decision wasn't any better than anyone else's. Like shitty things are shitty things, no matter what kind of glittery fucking package you put them in. I can forgive anything other than, yeah. I am well, and even that, like I was really trying to be Christ-like, because my ex beat me within an inch of my life because I found his kitty porn. Um, and even through that, yeah, I did send him to prison, but then I like tried to like help him get counseling, and you know what I mean. I tried to like love him through it, and there's just that's the one thing I just think that once you decide to like cross that line, I don't think there's any coming back from it. And I would never ever put that much myself into anyone else with that affliction, with that problem, because I just don't think that outside of God putting His hand on a person, there's nothing that's going to help someone who indulges in stuff like that. It just I learned the hard way that people that are that fucking selfish and that disgusting and that sick, outside of the hand of God, nothing's gonna fix them. And I'm not ever gonna try again. But I know that unforgiveness is really, really bad. And God came down here. He actually incarnated himself into his own creation's body and lived the life that he wants us to live. Like he was the textbook example of what he wanted us to be when he created us. And then he actually died one of the most painful deaths ever so that we could actually have a chance at salvation and have a chance to be reconciled to Him and to have an eternal life, which was the plan from the beginning. Death was never supposed to be a part of the universe, and so He went through all of that to show us how much He loved us. And so He don't. I know God does not play with unforgiveness. It don't matter what it is or who it is. If you got some unforgiveness in your heart, you gotta figure out a way to get it out of there, because God ain't gonna. He's not gonna be like, oh well, they were a sick fuck. I get it. I put them in hell. It's okay. No, it's not the way it's gonna be on Judgment Day. I promise. So I mean, any unforgiveness at all, we really got to do our best, no matter how bad it hurts, no matter how horrific the crime was. We really do got to try our best to forgive that person and love them as if it never happened, because that's true unforgiveness, and that's true forgiveness. Is when you can love somebody and hug them and look them in the eyes as if the affliction or the transgression never happened. That's true forgiveness. And I know it's a hard place to get to, but it's what we should all try and strive for, because we want God to forgive us. We need to forgive each other. Wow, I'm at a loss for words. It doesn't happen too often. uh, so Lester usually always dies, and they do. So trust me, none of us get away with anything. We may think we got away with it for 30 years, but one day, somehow, some way, whatever you did that you should have done, it's coming back to you. Like, I actually know of three people who did some really foul shit to children, and they burned up in a house fire. They burned alive. So yeah, like that whole Freddy Krueger thing. Like, God actually does do that in real life. Like, He does not play with people hurting little kids, especially sexual molestation. Like, that will come back to you. Like, none of us have to do shit. God will get them on His own. Like, I think the Bible does say, like, somewhere about there being a special place in hell for people who abuse little children. Yeah, I can see that. I just think I have unhealed pain over my 14-year-old daughter being raped, and then she tried to kill herself from it 5 months later. Um, I definitely will be praying for her, because even if it seems like she's over it, I mean, I carried that shit with me for a long fucking time, and it really went that night when I found that my ex's kitty pornography, and his eyes literally turned red, like in the movies, like horror films when you see like someone's eyes turn red, like Satan or whatever. I'm not kidding. That literally happened. I saw it through my spiritual eyes, I guess. I don't know. But when he knew I found his dirty little secret, the devil inside awoke, and he literally he he was going to kill me that night. I, by the grace of God, I was able to get away from him and get out, run out down the hallway, and was able to call the police. But I was the insides of my ears were black, and they were purple. They were blurple. I had bruises all the way across my face, like to where it looked like I was wearing a Batman mask. My nose was broken. Um, like if it wasn't for God, I do believe that man would have killed me that night, because he didn't want anyone to find out what he was doing. I definitely do. I definitely think, like, that's another reason why we're not supposed to go out and fucking be willy nilly with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, Mary, Sue, Linda, Ray. Like, when you sleep with people, not only do you sleep with them, you sleep with whatever demons are attached to them. Like, and the energy the transference of spirits is real. Like, I mean, so if that person has a succubus or an incubus on them, and you have sex with them, that succubus or that incubus or that Jezebel can jump right over to you, and then you'll carry that with you for however long until you notice it, and you actually, do the shit to, like, to cast the demon out or whatever. Um, it's we don't realize how powerful our words are, how powerful our actions are, because whatever we do or say or do, there's a spiritual uh, consequence or spiritual whatever happens in the physical. There's also a balancing or whatever in the spiritual. So if you're out sleeping with everybody, of course Jezebel's gonna want to like live with you. Like I need to go. I need to go get on with Ricky. He over there sleeping with everybody. That's gonna give me energy. Like that's gonna make me stronger. Like like a Jezebel spirit. Um, whatever evil you willingly engage in, you will those spirits will attach to you, and each time you do it, it becomes easier to do it, and those spirits get stronger, and then when you finally realize, oh shit, I shouldn't be doing this, it makes it that much harder to stop doing it. Like addictions, addiction is possession. I mean, it's a spirit attached to you. You know what I mean? Like, yes, obviously there is a physical, your physical body is also a part of that addiction, where it makes it hard to let go of it because your physical body is actually addicted to it too. But it's also very spiritual. There's spirits on you that are trying to kill you. Like your addictions, whatever they may be, they want to kill you, and that's the whole purpose of them. And the longer you go in that addiction or that sinful way, that sexual addiction, that cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, whatever, the longer you do it, the harder it is to stop, because that spirit that's been living with you that you don't even know has been living with you has gotten so much power from all the times that you've done it. My twin flame has one on him. Is that native or naive? I'm sorry. And I told him to go to one of his elders to get it removed. I don't think he has. Probably not. Depending on what spirit it is. Plus, if he's got any kind of a ego or a Native American. I thought it was native, but I'm sorry. Like when I'm words are this big, I can't. Sometimes I native naive, like they're close enough to where this far away I couldn't tell. But if he's got any kind of a pride or ego issue, he probably hasn't, because his pride is telling him that he doesn't have that issue, or that it's all a bunch of hocus pocus. There's no demons or spirits. It's just what I want to do. It has nothing to do with demons or spirits. I mean, depending on like how he, if he's got any spiritual backing or background, or if he's a non-believer, then he definitely don't believe it. And sometimes that's why the feminine gets removed from certain parts of the journey, because the feminine's usually the more intuitive one, the more psychic one. Yeah, it is. That's the feminine can usually see shit, smell shit, or spot shit a mile away. Like the feminine usually can like avoid a lot of things because they already see it coming before it happens, and um, um, but the masculine, men or masculinity, they they work more out of their logic, their mind. So the feminine works more out of her heart. The masculine works more out of his logic or his mind. So the masculine, being hard headed, 9 times out of 10 has to actually go through the shit and see it with their physical eyes to be to believe it. The feminine can just get that intuitive feeling in her heart, and she knows to stay away. And that's why when you go through separation on the twin flame, the feminine usually actually just gets like put into captivity or into isolation, and is basically being hidden until the masculine gets through the danger and like defeats the danger, and then you go to reunion when the battle's been won. Um, because the feminine knows better, and the masculine's hard headed and is like, I don't believe in that hocus pocus bullshit. Whatever, you're crazy. And then 6 months later, they come back and they're like, well, you weren't so crazy. I actually went through this, this, and this. Everything you said was going to happen happened. Men also say less about their trauma and self-medicate. True. Um, now, women definitely self-medicate as much. But they are more vocal. They will speak about their trauma, especially sexual trauma. Um, they definitely will speak about sexual trauma much more openly than a man would, because it's hard enough to it's hard enough for a man to admit that he's had sex with another man, and to admit that another man was able to overpower him and to rape him, basically. Um, it's really hard for a man to admit that. So a lot of times men just think it's better to pretend it never happened and just let the trauma fester inside of them and use beer, drugs, um, or even sex. Like just continue the sex addiction because like, and I don't care what anybody thinks about me. Um, I hated what my uncle was doing to me the first like 100 times, but after so many times, like I was basically groomed into. I wouldn't I wouldn't say I liked it, but I got to a point to where I could live with it happening. I didn't want to go home and like cut my wrist like every time it happened. I got to the point to where like I somehow I don't I don't want to say I enjoyed it, but like I was able to get to a point to where I could tolerate it and enjoy it enough or whatever, like to where I could process it happening to me. My son-in-law told me he felt the same as what you just said. Yeah, it's really hard to yeah, exactly Stockholm. Like when you basically you stop seeing your victimizer as a victimizer and you start seeing them as like some kind of like a safety net. Like it's the trauma twists your mind that much to where you stop viewing it the action as being traumatic and you start viewing it as being like a safe place. Which I know it's if you've not been through it, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, it becomes normal. Exactly. Thank you. It was really hard to like figure out how to say that, but when it happens so many times, like and then all that, like no one's listening and no one's doing anything to help you. Um, you kind of feel like you don't have a choice. Either fight it and get your ass beaten, still get raped, or actually be a willing participant and it not hurt that so bad physically. It's maybe expected and maybe missed in a way when happening. He put his stepdad away for 2 years. Oh yeah, if I would have been old enough, like well, especially with the first time with my dad's brother, I would have went to the authorities myself. But I was 8 years old, and when my dad like made me feel like I was the bad guy, like I basically I went and told my dad that I just dreamed it and it didn't really happen. Now with my mom's brother, I no one would help me. My mom's sister actually was like, that doesn't happen in our family. Okay, bitch. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit there and tell you that your brother fucked me just because it was I was bored and there was nothing else better to do. Come the fuck on. Like it's crazy how like people think sweeping shit under the rug is the somehow it makes pretending shit that didn't happen somehow makes it better. No, it makes it worse, and it allows the fucking man to go out and do it again. Like I'm pretty sure my uncle molested almost everyone in my generation, including his own kids, and and no one fucking did anything about it. And I tried and tried and tried, and I mean, I would even get drunk and like scream at the top of my lungs, like I would go out of his house and like beat on his door and like you fucking chocolate. I mean, like, and nothing, nothing. And finally, I just got to where I was old enough and capable of removing myself from it, and I just prayed for the other ones that weren't, because no matter how loud I screamed, no matter how hard I tried, it seemed like nobody would do anything. And as much as I didn't want the younger kids, younger than me, you know what I mean, to have to go through what I went through, I really felt helpless, and the only thing I could do was to remove myself and to stop it from happening. Like I said, the minute I turned 18, he didn't want shit to do with me anyway. So, you know, back then it was really hard and confirmation. And I I went through a lot of a lot of shit that I really wish I hadn't didn't have to go through because of trying to process the trauma. But now that I'm older and I have processed it and I've healed from the trauma, I am kind of glad that it happened because I know that my story is going to help other people, and that pain being turned into purpose is one of the most beautiful things. And so I can see the beauty in it now. It took 25 years, but I mean, now I can see the beauty in it, and I hope that my story will definitely help other people. Either A, help the people that are doing this shit to wake up and realize what the fuck they're doing to somebody, which don't have as much hope on that end, but I do have some. Or B, you know, give somebody else, another victim out there, the courage to stand up and say, hey, this person's doing this to me. Uncle Bobby, Uncle Ray, Aunt Sue, because fucking women do it too. Like, so give that person the courage and the strength to stand up and say, hey, this person's touching me and I don't. You did it. You have a. Yeah, I put it together. You meant recovery, or maybe it's just because I can't see it. It just looked like recovery, and so I just went with it. um, but so that's my that's my hope, anyways, is that through telling my story and through everything I've been through, that someone else who has has been through it, give them the strength and the courage to stand up to their victim or their victimizer, stand up to or be able to stand out and say, hey, this person's doing X, Y, Z. We need to stop him, or allow someone to be able to stop it before it ever happens the first time, and not to ever have to go through that trauma. I gotta pull a couple of Moonology cards and maybe a couple of House of Wisdom in the House of Night, and then I'm gonna get off here, guys. I did not realize it was almost 2 hours. Don't let the past hold you back. South Node. So, in healing, the North Node is like your life's purpose, and so if you're not standing in your North Node, if you're not operating out of your North Node or out of your life's purpose, then you're in your South Node, and you're basically letting everything, every trauma, every disappointment, every uh, that's one of the reasons I came outside, because I can't smoke in the house. But the longer you stay living and operating out of your South Node, the longer and the stronger your strongholds and your trauma and no South Node. Sorry, um, but the longer you stay in your South Node and cry and boohoo about your traumas and your all the shitty bad things that happened to you, you're letting your past hold you back. You're living in your past, and as long as you do that, you'll never actually step into your North Node, and you'll never actually step into your purpose. So you got to stop letting it. And I speak to myself when I say that too. You got to stop letting your past hold you back. Heal those wounds, heal those traumas, forgive and release. And that way you can actually step into your North Node and be all that you could be in this life. Hold your vision. So as long as you have a plan, you have a vision, and you stick to it, and you actually do the things that need to be done in order for you to accomplish or to realize that vision, you're gonna you're gonna be just fine. But don't let anything distract you, whether that be people, places, or things. Well, sometimes I get triggered and I fucking cuss people the fuck out, and then like I did earlier when I was like, look, whoever, if you're so and so, like I told your bitch ass fucking 6 months ago not to do it, and you fucking did it anyways. So, yeah, like because she triggered me in the fact that she wanted to sit there. It's a crime, FYI. I'm like, bitch, you were warned and you fucking didn't heed the warning. So, like, stupidity should be a crime, but it's not. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Capricorn. So, hopefully, I mean, if you guys are on the same timeline as I am, and I think most of you are, that's probably why you are drawn to me. Um, we're just we're just about there. It actually might be happening, and I think it's going to happen. There's going to be a significant breakthrough in the month of June. Right, like a black out dashing mode might happen. Well, we all better get prepared because I'm telling you, all of this shit, they did this on purpose, making us dependent on electricity, making us dependent on Walmart, making us dependent on the internet. Like, I mean, like all this shit that we really don't need. I mean, if you're 40 or older, you can remember life without the internet. You can remember life without Walmart. You can, I mean, yeah, people used to grow their own food, make their own clothes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were self sufficient. And they purposely got us to give up those, you know, those crafts, those self sufficient, that self sufficient life so that they would have complete and utter control. So, you know, once they get to the point to where they want to pull some bullshit like COVID, then, well, guess what? Walmart's closed. Guess what? Macy's is closed. Guess what? The power grid went out. And then you have no clothes, you have no food, you have no water, you have no electricity. And me too. Me fucking too. Man. But, and once my generation's gone, the world's fucked. Like, and actually, even with my generation, I think like there's a lot of stuff that my grandparents taught. Walmart always was franchised. I mean, if it was, I mean, maybe not from day one, but from day 100. Like, it was, it's the devil. It was always intended. It was from its inception. It was meant to be what it is. Did you not notice it was the only thing that was allowed to be stay open during COVID? My nieces they play outside and stuff. Like my nephew plays basketball and stuff. So I really appreciate that. Like my niece, like you can't get her to come in the house. I love that about her. It's irritating at times, but I actually really admire and I love the fact that she likes playing dirt. She likes like just doing outdoor things, and it is good. I mean, because this is real. Like this is fake. This is artificial. Artificial intelligence is fucking. It's a way. It's a distraction. It's a deception, and it's gonna bite us all in the ass. Like sooner than later. You and your loved ones are safe. Cancer. So no matter what happens in life, if you genuinely and authentically love the people around you, and you guys go hard for each other, and you protect each other, nothing can come against you. As long as you got God, like no weapon formed against you will prosper. Doesn't mean the weapon won't form. It just means it won't. The the goal that was intended when it was formed will never come to pass. And sometimes God allows the weapon to form in order for you to see His power, His almighty, His sovereignty. Like, you know, what I mean, his what he says goes. So sometimes he allows things to form in your life so that when he does hit the gavel, he says, "Nope, I'm God, and this isn't going to happen." You actually get to see it. So just know that whenever you're going through trying times and you feel like God isn't around, just wait. That gavel, he will drop the gavel, but he's waiting just so you could see how powerful he really is and how nothing and no one can come up against him. Work through your fears, Scorpio. Okay. The moon. So whoever it was that said something about people like trying to like kill the night or whatever, there probably is for one of us. They probably are going to try on the full moon to do some dumb shit. Okay, 50 or a 5. It's May. Oh, well, it's actually, I guess today's the last day of May. Um, but just like I was saying, no weapon formed. The weapons will be formed, but they won't prosper. So let them do whatever they do. Like just adding to their karma, and actually, some of them are getting to the point to where their karma is their own physical death because they just won't stop doing the shit. Oath 49 or 13, or sorry, a 4. Actually, that's breaking down to a 4. So April could have been significant for one reason or another. Uh, in April, and they're sticking to it, even if it doesn't look like they are. They are. Um, Somebody can have a tattoo on their shoulder, left shoulder. They can have a tattoo on their chest. Somebody could be a fire sign. Somebody could be born April 9th, April 14th, April 13th, May 14th, May 13th, May 9th, May 4th. Maybe we were the unreachable and he used this as a tool. Yes, I mean, exactly. Like, God knows what it's going to take to wake you up. Like, other people are like, oh, you're so sinful. You're evil. You're the devil. You're going to hell. But you know what? All things work for those. All things work for good for those who love God. So yeah, sometimes some shit has to be worked out in a not so pretty way. But when at the end of the situation, when you know you're praising God and you're thanking God and you have a relationship with God, guess what? All that worked for the good, for your good, so that you could actually come to know God. Because a lot of us are hard headed. You know what I mean? We have to get knocked out a couple times before we're like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. Wishing 19, May 19th is significant. Um, February 19th is significant. November 19th. Somebody is really sick by what their choices in life up until this point, and they're wishing they would have made a different choice, especially when it comes to you. Um, and maybe they did make an oath in April to themselves to become a better person, and maybe they really are working on themselves now. You just can't see it because either A, you guys are no contact, or B, they're just doing it without like wanting praise. They're doing it for the right reasons and not for attention. Understanding 43 or 7. July could be very significant. Wow, as I said that, I look up and there's 7 likes. So July 3rd or July 7th could be very significant this year, you guys. Ricky, will this pain stop one day? Or maybe life is over at this point. Maybe our mission is over. It doesn't have to be, but you've got to take accountability, and you've got to own up to what you've done, and you got to go to the person that you hurt, and you got to tell them, and you got to ask them to forgive you, and just hope that they can be understanding, compassionate, and that they were telling you the truth when they said they loved you unconditionally. It's the only way to heal. You may not get the outcome that you're attached to, but you'll get the healing that is required in order for the both of you to fully step into your full power, into your full strength. And you may very well get the outcome that you want. But living in fear never helped anybody. You got to operate out of love and not out of fear. Fear is from the enemy. God does not give us spirit of fear. He gives the spirit of love. My person is it, well, don't say that. You're speaking that into existence. You're speaking that in the world. Our words are powerful. So you're helping him be a lost cause by when you say that. I know. I trust me. I know the feeling. I know how it is to feel that way. But every time you want to say they're a lost cause, get on your knees and pray. Be like, God, I need you to be with whoever your person is, and I just please get them through this day. Please help them, protect them, help them, and show them the light. Show them the way back to me. Show them the way back to you. Please, God, help them get their shit together. You're welcome. Have a good night. Thank you for being here. I hope to see you soon. Yeah, I'm gonna go too, guys. I can't believe it's been 2 hours. But I love you guys so much, and have a great night. And tomorrow's June 1st, a new month, a new beginning. It's up to you how. It's your perception of the way you look at the world and the way you look at your life is the first step into changing your life into becoming who you want to be and living the life you want to live. I love you guys. If you love me as much as I love you, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.